idols, it's Cece Let's Do. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. So I woke up with a really sore throat today, which means I'll probably be sick in the next few days. So I'm hoping to get this out there and finish it before I become ill. Now, for today's video, this is actually something I've been wanting to talk about for a while, but it is hard to make these types of videos where you criticize or question the actions of certain beloved figures, especially in the K-pop world. And this video is not to discredit any of the artists that I'm gonna name or any of the figures that I'm gonna name, because everyone is innocent until proven guilty. But there are some shady things going down at Hive, and I think we should really talk about it. Now, I am not a journalist, I'm not a professional, I'm just a YouTuber. I'm a girl with a camera, a computer to edit, and some Wi-Fi. You know, like, I don't ever make these videos to seem like a professional or anything like that. It's just my take on things, how I feel about things, and I would love to get your take, your insight, your opinions as well. Before we dive in, I would like to invite you guys to check out my Patreon, because a few days ago I uploaded the most scandalous story time I ever got to put out there, and I'm so grateful to Kat. I'm gonna call her Kat to keep her name short. I don't want to out her, you know, even though she is pretty active in the comments of that post, so I don't think she's shy about who she is. But she sent screenshots, she sent pictures of the evidence. She sent a very detailed story of what happened to her. She was in a long distance relationship with this guy in Korea, and how she caught him slipping, how she caught something from him. Basically, she said, do not censor his name, do not censor his face. Like, I want girls to know who this guy is so they can avoid him. Like, I want him exposed.
Expose him!
Part of me is considering putting parts of that story here on YouTube, but at the same time, there's so much detail that she put into it that would probably have to be omitted from the YouTube version. I'm not sure if it'll be worth it. It's just something I'm thinking about. Also, I am editing the Oslo vlog. Like I said, I know vlogs don't really do that well on my channel, so I don't really see the point of having a few short videos that are gonna flop. So I'd rather have just one. And on the Patreon version of that, you will see more scenes. Like, the video will be longer on Patreon because you'll see my boyfriend. Like, there's certain scenes and clips that I'm omitting in the YouTube version that will be available in the Patreon version. So, link in the description if you want to become a patron. Thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon. Thank you to everyone who supports me here. When you like these videos, when you watch these videos, when you leave a comment below and engage with the videos, and when you subscribe to my channel, you do more for me than you realize. So I really, really appreciate you. Now, let's get into this Hive video, specifically Bangi. Now, first of all, full disclaimer, like I said in the beginning of this video, I am very grateful for what Bangi has done. You know, he brought us BTS. The thing that I found so appealing about them when I first started listening to them in like 2016 is they seemed like such a humble underdog type of group, like incredibly talented, not enough recognition. They didn't come from the big three at the time, the SM, the JYP, the YG, you know, they came from big hit entertainment. Like, who is that, you know? And I saw them on American Hustle Life. They were so genuine, so grateful, so humble, so authentic, and I loved watching them grow and grow to worldwide acclaim and fame. So I will always be grateful because, you know, BTS has changed music. They changed the whole genre of music. There are a few places in this world you can go without seeing some sort of trace or influence from Korean culture and Korean entertainment. And a lot of that has come from BTS. We love Bangi for bringing us BTS, but honestly, I've always had weird feelings about him because of how he treats women at his company and his Leonardo DiCaprio-esque affiliation with younger girls and women. But, you know, credit where credit's due. Bang is a very successful man in South Korea. He is one of the 50th wealthiest people in South Korea, and fun fact, he is the only billionaire in Korea's entertainment industry. But now he's actually facing legal consequences, and a lot of people are throwing the possibility prison time for him. How did we get here? Let's talk about it. In December 2024, it was announced that the Financial Supervisory Service were looking into whether Bangi made secret shareholder contracts with three shareholders, STIC Investments, Estone Equity Partners, and New Main Equity, without informing other shareholders and the financial regulator in order to financially benefit by deceiving the other shareholders that Hybe wouldn't be entering an IPO in 2020. A few months ago, May 28th of 2025 is when things started to really pop off. The FSS, Financial Supervisory Service, referred him to the prosecution after concluding their investigation met the threshold for charges to be made. Police requested search warrants but were rejected so far. Now, recently there's been a development. The warrant application was submitted on July 17th by the Financial Crimes Investigation Unit of the Seoul Metropolitan Police Agency, targeting both Bang and Hybe's headquarters in Yongsan-gu, according to a Chosun Biz report. Regarding the allegations, Hybe released the following statement. Now, this is before the report that just came out on July 17th, so this is what they said at the time on July 9th. But this is the most recent statement I could find from Hybe so far, so it is a few weeks old. We sincerely apologize for causing concern with the recent news related to our company's listing process. Regarding the current issue being raised, we are actively cooperating with the financial authorities and the police by submitting detailed explanations and relevant materials to verify the facts. Even if the process takes time, we will thoroughly clarify that our IPO, initial public offering, at the time was conducted in full compliance with the laws and regulations. Thank you. According to the financial authorities, the Capital Market Investment Deliberation Committee, CMIDC, Bangi reportedly profited approximately 200 billion Korean won, or approximately 146 million USD, after falsely stating that Hive had no plans to go public, leading existing investors to sell their shares. Now, according to the Korean Herald, one of the reasons this is significant is because of the new president. This marks the first time under Lee Jae-myung's administration that authorities have taken such strong disciplinary actions against the head of a major conglomerate. Regulators reportedly gave Bang an unusual opportunity to appear in person and explain himself, but he declined to attend. A referral to the prosecution is the most severe action financial regulators can take against an individual accused of violating the law. So you may be wondering, like, what makes this so bad and what qualifies as a violation of this law. Under the Capital Markets Act, a person who gains or avoids losses of over 5 billion won through unfair trading may face prison terms of 5 years to life. Then today there was even more shadiness reported from Hive. 3 people affiliated with Hive were handed fines and suspended prison sentences for trading on insider knowledge of the boy band BTS's military enlistment. The Seoul Southern District Court on Tuesday gave a 37-year-old employee of Hive's subsidiary Source Music, surnamed Kim, a 10-month sentence, suspended for 2 years, along with a 231 million won, or $166,420 fine, for violating the Financial Investment Services and Capital Markets Act. A 33-year-old former employee of subsidiary Big Hit Music, surnamed Lee, was fined 51 million won, and a 41-year-old former employee of subsidiary B-Lift Lab received 6-month sentences, suspended for 2 years, and a fine of 51 million won. These defendants were accused of selling all their Hive shares before a public announcement was made on June 14, 2022 about BTS's upcoming military obligations and their potential hiatus. By doing so, they avoided more than a 230 million won loss. And I actually remember that day. I was in Jeju and I was about to go work at a hagwon again for the first time since 2019. Well, first time at a hagwon, but first time teaching again since 2019 in Korea. And I remember everybody was freaking out, losing their minds online. Like, wait, BTS is going on hiatus? No, like, this can't be happening. Not the ultimate boy group. Like, no. Like, everybody was in turmoil. Everyone was so upset. It was hard for people to imagine Korean entertainment, Korean music without BTS for however long it may have been. And this is also before we knew how long they would be gone, before we knew that they would all serve pretty much back to back to back and come out back to back to back. So a lot of people were worried. We did not know how long they were going to be gone. You know, typically when boy bands have to enlist, they're gone. I would say they're gone from like 3 to 5 years, depending on how many members there are, how wide they range in age. But usually it takes them a while to all serve and all get done and come back as one full unit. You have like the sub units, you have solo activities, but we did not know how long it would be. So we did see the stocks plummet. And then they had to say, wait. They had to make another public statement saying, guys, a hiatus, we use that word loosely, you know, like they're gonna be back before you know it. They're still doing solo activities. It'll be like they're never gone. And they were right, because we got so much consistent music and activity from each of the members that it really doesn't feel like they've been gone, you know? But yeah, I do remember that day. A lot of people were freaking out. In fact, the day after BTS's announcement, Hive stock price plunged 24.78%. So then we got breaking news this morning. Now, by the way, a lot of this I'm reading right from the articles. I'll link them below because I don't want to get the terminology wrong. And then another unfortunate bit of like Hive news. Not that this was the fault of any Hive employee, but people are considering this a win for BTS, like finally a recent win, right? You know how whenever idols have to travel, whether they're on tour, whether they have to make appearances and do promotions and stuff, and there are always those people who are there at the airport and they just figure it out somehow. They just get tipped off that this person has this flight at this time, so this is when you should show up. Well, there are consequences to that. On July 22nd, K-Media reported that the foreign airline employee referred to as Mr. A and 2 other accomplices have been sent to the Seoul Central District Prosecutor's Office on charges of violating the Information and Communications Network Act, among other offenses. The police have since divulged that the 3 suspects in the case had racked in tens of millions of won by illegally tapping into the flight info of A-list celebrities and eventually selling their sensitive details. The confidential information was reportedly sent out via open chat rooms or social media direct messages. The legal case progress appears to be linked to reports of a Hong Kong airline staffer being caught leaking air travel and reservation details of BTS and other top K-pop idols earlier this year. The case has been prolonged despite Hive filing complaints and taking necessary actions against artists' invasion of privacy. That's never good. That's dangerous, especially when there's so many toxic, violent stans out there. If they get hands on them, they stalk them, they break. Didn't that happen in Hyphen recently, where someone broke into their dorms and then Jungkook had someone also try to break into his house? Like, what are y'all doing? Like, are y'all okay? Like, what are we doing? Anyway, that was a little bit of good news for our boys over at Hive, but I have some more interesting accusations I would like to bring up with you guys. Now, there's 2 different ways of looking at this. So there have also been some payola accusations against Hybe, because we know about the Recording Academy, right? We know K-pop artists have been thirsting for a damn Grammy. And recently we got a fresh batch of Korean artists who have been invited to join the Recording Academy. Some people see this as a good thing. Some people see it a little more suspiciously. Why, do you ask? These artists include Yeonjun from Text, Jungwon from Enhypen, Vernon and Woozi from 17, Yoonjin from LE SSERAFIM, Cat's Eye, and Zico. What do all of these artists have in common besides being Korean? They're all under the Hybe umbrella. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I'm not doing any of this to like discredit any of these artists. Yeonjun is my favorite member from Text. Yoonjin is my favorite member from LE SSERAFIM. I love Cat's Eye. There were also a lot of people saying, listen, Cat's Eye just got here. How are they already invited to join the Recording Academy? You have groups and artists who have been out for years, and Cat's Eye just debuted last year? Damn, already? It's only been a year? But there's been a lot of discussion as to why the invites haven't been more broadly spanned across different companies, you know? A lot of people are like, dude, 3 Racha, a subunit of Stray Kids under JYP, they have so many like songwriting credits and producing credits. People are like, why have they, of all people, not been invited to join the academy? Like, that's suspicious. Now, some people say this is just Hybe working really hard to get their artists promoted and put them out there, hustling hard for their artists, as you should. But some people are calling this payola, especially with these bribery and insider trading accusations. First of all, I just want to say, like, my personal opinion, the Grammys are BS. Over a decade ago when Eminem called them out, I was kind of like, yeah, you know what, you're right. Eminem has won many Grammys, you know, and even he can be like, yo, this is bullshit. But I think I officially was like, no, this is really weird. In 2020, or the 2020 cycle, whatever, The Weeknd was not nominated at all. Bro, Blinding Lights was the most unavoidable song of that year. How was he snubbed completely? Not a single nomination. That's crazy. Ever since Macklemore won Best Rap Artist over Kendrick Lamar, when they made a new country music category because Beyonce dominated last year. And listen, as much as I hate Nicki Minaj because she's not a girl's girl, the fact that she's never won a Grammy is so sus. She's been nominated a few times, but she's never won a Grammy. And I think Cardi B's first nomination she won, I mean, come on, son, that's shady. I remember Lotto. She had like a real big blow up in like 2022, I think. And she was nominated under a hip hop category, but Nicki had a similar song that was nominated under a pop category. Like, the Grammys have always been a little weird, right? It's not even about just the music or the talent. It's about politicking and like doing what you're told. So personally, I wish K-pop artists would stop being so obsessed with trying to win a Grammy. So yeah, all these Korean artists who were recently invited to join the Recording Academy happen to be under Hybe. Now, you guys can tell me if you think that's a coincidence or if you think there's something else going on, money was exchanged, I don't know. But I also think it is kind of fair to point out the fact that Hybe has been expanding so much, it's like a numbers game, you know? They're into the US, they're about to go into South America, they're dominating Korea. It's not even like the big 3 anymore, it's the big 4 in Korea. So when you have more numbers on your side, I think you would be more likely to have more artists invited to join the Recording Academy. So yeah, I would love to know what you guys feel about all of this. There's a lot we don't know yet. The prosecution keeps denying these warrant requests. Personally for me, I've always found that Big Hit was charming because they were such a small, humble, hardworking company, label. It was a brand new thing. They were hustling, grinding out there, and they started to dominate the world. But I do feel like Bang Shihyuk and expanding Hybe constantly is getting a little greedy. And to me, it's losing the charm. You know what I mean? You know, lately there's been this whole, a really strong push to eat the rich, you know? Like, there should not be 4 men who own more wealth than like more than half of the global population combined. I also feel like if you work really hard and earn your money, fine, more power to you. But like, when is it enough? Like, how much is enough, you know? Like, what is the point of keep expanding and keep earning and keep growing? Like, I get that every company's goal is to be successful and be profitable, but they're beyond that. You know, Bang is the only billionaire, US dollar billionaire, in the Korean entertainment industry. And they're still expanding more. But yeah, guys, like I said, I am not a professional. I am not a financial supervisor. I am not into stocks and trading, and I don't know that much about these like economic spaces. But as a humble fan, I've just noticed some things. I've formed my own opinions, and I would love to hear from you guys next. So before my voice gives out completely, because it's kind of sort of, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Annyeong.